Yeah, and I was like, where does this come from?
And the
and
kids.
also, it's not a new song for me.
Yeah, 2016,
it's
right?
It's like, why now? What's happening? I was like, okay, into the social media. I think Kuwering Pussy Coffee.
Nkululeko on Cultr.
Over 10 years ago, a hip-hop group named Jozi did a beautiful song called What's With The Attitude. It sampled from Ubabu Voseklimba. It was a beautiful, beautiful album, Muddle and Crunk. In my teenage years, I really, really, really enjoyed that. It was a departure from the usual sound that you would get from Squatter Camp, usual sound that you would get from Pro Kid, Tear Guess at the time, Proverb, all of my favorite rappers at the time. It was really, really different. I really enjoyed it. My guest today is one of the men who was part of that group, Jozi. Ishmael, thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me, brother. Yo, no.
I'm so excited, man, to talk to you.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can feel the energy as I was asking you so many stupid questions about how did this album come about and so many other things as well. To sample from Maskandi as part of Jozi, whose idea was that and how difficult was that to execute?
Okay, that idea came from Lance, from Motherland Entertainment. He was like, I remember then there was a group called Shimani ECT, where it was Shimani, Bongani, the LES, and Crazy Lou. They were doing their thing. They were doing like the crunk vibe, you know what I mean?
That sounds like the original Jozi.
Yes, you know, but they were really like crunk, you know, the ATL crunk.
Yeah.
You know, snap your fingers type vibes.
Yeah.
And then I was also supposed to do an album at Motherland Entertainment. So I think Lance felt like he could kill, you know, two birds, one stone type vibe.
Yeah.
So he was like, guys, why don't you guys fuse together? You know what I mean?
And become a group.
Become a group. But the type of vibe that you can do is mix South African, you know, traditional, just African traditional samples with, or even Maskandi, anything with the hip hop that you're doing. And, you know, of course, then it was a bit hard because nobody really kind of saw how the outcome would be, you know. And then, and then eventually, okay, Bongani was the producer back then, and then eventually, you know, he did that. The Vuskimba track, mixed it with a bit of hip hop, and the outcome was nice.
Yeah, was there any doubt with all of you guys in terms of how is this gonna come out?
I think it was more like, not doubt really, but it was more like the unknown, you know, because it was the first time that vibe was done, and we were all like just taking a big gamble. But you know, it's music gambles all the time. You know,
the first time I heard What's With The Attitude must have been on SABC, one of the shows there. It sounded different, like it sounded out there. What's with the attitude? Why you gotta be rude? And the dancing and the cranking and the it was beautiful. Like I wish I could go back to that era and appreciate it more as well. Like, what was the initial reaction from the fan base as you were performing it? Because remember, at this time it's also house music dominated.
Yes,
about DJ Cleo, Escaleni, and all of these guys, DJ Fresh dominating the club scene. How was that received?
It was in the beginning. It was a bit hard because I remember the guys were even like, when it's time to go perform in the beginning, especially Bongs would Bongs, they are haters. Yeah, you know, it wouldn't. People would be scared to perform it because some people, you know, by then the reception wasn't that, you know, that legit. You know, people were like, what is this? Some people understood it, some people didn't understand it yet. But luckily even before, man, there was Bongs and Les and them had like a big crew. My keep kids, you know.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And then you had all kinds of support. So it would be like you would have seen when we go to shows, man. There's like 20 people with 25 people with us, you know. So I guess that support base actually really helped. You know what I mean?
It kind of validated that whenever you're performing, you have a bunch of people that were vibing with you.
Yes, you understand. So that helped, and then eventually, when that caught fire, people were not doubting it anymore.
Yeah.
People were just
Is it
accepting
with these skills, Sagabongs, to be able to do that, and maybe even with you when you had your hand in production, for him to be able to do that, to infuse that sound with what we were as hip hop, is it like his skill set? Because I've seen before that, we had seen Bongs when there's a Brenda Fassie tribute, he plays piano there, here and there,
Things
and you
like
can
that.
hear him singing as well. But we had known, and I saw him play drums when he was young, because Selima Tunzi would follow his mom, check out his lifestyle. So I would see him play drums. So you could see that there's a musical inclination, Gubongs. Because that's complex. It may sound easy, this thing of infusing Maskandi with hip hop. It's not everyone who's been able to do that successfully. How was he able to pull that off?
I think with Bongs it was really okay. It was a bit easy because from every time I saw him producing, there was really no sweat, and given the fact that he comes from a very musical family, his pop was a musician, mom's was Brenda Fassie, you know what I mean? So for him, that music thing was really, and Bongs is very good with production. Definitely, you can't take that away from him. So I think that's what made it easy for him to actually also kind of see it, that happening and actually making it even hot, And
Ulans gave you the creative freedom to do that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
There was no limitation to say, give me a pop song, because there were popular songs from that album. Yeah. But with that sound, you could not have known this is gonna work and this is not gonna work.
No, definitely. I mean, I think Bongs had a freedom. He had freedom to express himself however he wanted. Especially in the hip hop pop vibe. Yeah.
And the dynamics of that group. Luther Cohen, Bongani Fassie, Leslie Mampe, Ishmael Morabe. At some point, of course, there's fractures because when you're performing, other people are not pitching up, but you have to be paid the same at some point. But initially...
Or sometimes somebody doesn't show up and you don't perform. And somebody shows up late and then, the show is over and then you don't perform,
Yeah, so which affects your money.
Yeah.
Initially... was it easy for you guys to be a group and have that synergy? Because I think Lou was crazy. He had come from TV. So there's that pull from him as he's already a presenter, as a known name. Yeah. But I think I would question his rapping skills. Like as a rap fan, that he doesn't have bars and bars for days. He could string things together, but it worked that he was in a group. And then Dales, of course, became a rapper. Yeah. But although he was crankish, your vocals are unquestionable. You had a history of being a huge award-winning star. And Bongs, as you confirm now, production unquestionable comes from the music family as well. So how easy or difficult was it? Did you kind of look at you guys and be like, man, we're paying people here for not adding that much value?
No, there was actually never, especially from me, man. There was never not even a single moment where I was like, okay, this one is worth more than another one, because because I've been in groups before this. I've been with Ski before Jozi. I've been with POC. So it was, my attitude was like, we are one unit, everybody's equal, everybody's the same, In music, there's no good to, okay, when too much or less, a group is a group. And then when you perform, people are coming to see all of you, not just one person. It's not like one person featuring others, it's a group. So for me, it was never like, this one is getting less or more. It was a group. Everybody has their own input. Everybody has something that they put in the group that makes, give the texture to the group,
Once upon a time, you guys were on Real Kopoza. And this is a time where Crazy Lou was not, no one knew where he was. In terms of like he wasn't showing up for performances. Yeah. Crazy thing is that me and my two cousins were walking CBD Cape Town and we saw him. And we had watched Real Kopoza on the weekend or something like that. Because we were so hip hop, like we loved hip hop. And we heard, and I remember Bongs was saying, yo, this thing is affecting our money,
Blah, blah, blah.
yeah, all of that stuff. What would have happened with Lou? Did it get just difficult?
But you know the funny thing is, Lou, people think because of the name also, I guess it's Crazy Lou, is the crazy one. But actually, in reality, Crazy Lou was not the crazy one, the craziest one in the group, And it just happened that, I guess that time he didn't show up, but he was definitely not the craziest one. He just seemed crazy. But I think it was more, the craziness was more of an image thing than the actual craziness.
So it would be like fun to be around with you guys as friends.
Yeah, definitely. He would be fun. He'd be, but crazy was not one of them. Like
what would have been the reason why he would leave though? Like for example, on that episode with Real Corpus, it became clear that there's a problem here. There's 3 of us, there's 4 of us. Yeah. We're booked to perform as 4 of us. And we have to break bread with someone who wasn't there. Yeah. What would have happened then?
I think by the time that Real Corpus was shot, when he wasn't there, I think it just happened that he was not there, but it's not. But it seemed like he's not there all the time.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? But no, it was not the case. It was not. He was there. He'd show up if he can. I'm not sure what was happening then, or was he still part of the group or whatever? Because there's a lot of beefs that were happening, especially with people in the group or whatever. But no. It's not. He respected when he was.
Well, please confirm to us then who was the craziest one, because you're saying Lou was not.
No, I'm not gonna mention. I'm not.
But
I'm not gonna mention anybody who was the craziest. But I bet you if you can sit and think about it, you definitely know who was the craziest one. But all I'm saying is like Crazy Lou was not the craziest one in the group. Yeah.
It's the guy with the superstar mother. It's not the guy with the superstar mother.
No. Well. Yeah.
I love Bongs.
Those are small peas.
No, I love Bongs. I'm just messing around.
Yeah.
At what point did you see the tipping point with Jozi? Or go to, these niggas love us actually. They love this music. It's resonating with people to a point where we could get 2,000 people, 10,000 people to come and watch us. At what point did that change?
Yeah, when I realized that I know this is big is when we performed at the mall. At the mall, I think it was in Soweto, like where the whole mall was just packed with people. Whole mall, from the floor even up there, it was just packed. I was like, wow, this is huge. Then I knew, Jozi is the king of the screws. I think that's what they call.
Yeah, you guys ushered into this period of screws.
The screws, the king of the screws. I know I've realized. That's when I was like, no, this is big.
Did it reflect in your pockets at some point? Which we're gigging, we're performing.
Yeah,
and this is big. Like, did it reflect in that?
Yeah, no, it was. We could definitely. We were living off of it, and people were running around in new cars and stuff like that, and we could definitely live from it. When you're in a group and people start moving and getting their own spots and being able to afford their own places and their own cars and just like, of course, the women, women will always make you know where you are in life. The more you ask, okay, and then they're gone. They definitely let you know. You don't even have to ask.
I think it's underrated, that album. I think that there are people who appreciate it. I spent last year, I don't know if this is erroneous, but there was like it must have been over a 10-year period. I think it was 13 or 14 years. It's like someone was mentioning it on radio that it's been X amount of years since that album was released. And I spent a lot of time just listening to it again on Spotify, re-listening to it again. It has never been lost on me how much that album was monumental in terms of just the departure in sound. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I really enjoyed that album. And it could not have been nothing without the efforts of all of you guys.
Yeah,
because the
definitely.
production was as important as your vocals, and the raps, although they were not hard kicking bars, but
but-
maybe they needed to be friendly so that they can attract 15-year-olds,
Definitely.
16-year-olds. They
Yeah.
didn't have to be bars that are very complicated.
Yes.
That album was immense and super.
No, man, thank you so much. No, I still feel, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, even today I play to people. They're like, wow, this is fire, you know? It's like, it's almost as if it dropped not long ago, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, no, we definitely did that thing, if I have to say so myself. And yeah, thank God that we, you know, we crossed paths, you know? And then we were able to put something like that together, you know, just put our name in the history books of South African music. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing to be part of.
Yeah, something that's special about you. There are a lot of things that are special about you, like your affiliation with groups, your consistency, and I think even your voice doesn't change as well. Which is strange. I'm trained musically, and I know that some of us have inferior talents, and our voice gets strained, and over a period of time, it changes. Your voice has stayed consistent for a very long time. You are as good today as you were in 96, 97 with the Uvavasiye and all of that. But I want to ask you quickly about another thing that's consistent is your relationship with Lance.
Yeah.
Like, in as much as different musicians have come out to say that they were shortchanged here and there, you give him credit for his ability to understand music, for your relationship that you have with him as well. Just please expand on that. What would have been the first time you met him, at what age, and just him being in your life consistently?
Yeah. I think I met him around probably maybe the late
80s.
Yes, 80. When I first came to Joburg, 89-ish or something, you know, around lap. And I met him then in Hillbrow, and I remember because back then I was just hustling, you know, from just one place to another, just trying to be in the music game, working with different people. I worked with, you know, Abu Mandla, Abu Mdu, Abu Chico Twala, you know, I worked with those people, but it was nothing solid, as in Wuti, there was no belonging, you know. I was just from here to there, just like, you know, freelancing like that. But then when I met him, that's when I actually like was part of a group, part of a somewhat family, musical family, you know, with POC. And then, from there, things just started happening for me.
What did he say to you? Or what did he see in you even? Did he hear you sing by some mistake? He was somewhere and they heard you sing and it was like, yo, let's work.
Yeah. No. How it happened was we were in a, you know, because back then there were clubs, there was like matinee clubs where at that age, I mean, I was not allowed to go into a club, too young, whatever, you know. So they had the afternoon vibes, whether it be hip hop afternoon, you know, would go to clubs and go. So they'd have competitions, rap competitions or dance competitions. And then it's this one time we were at a place called Razmataz back in downtown Jozi. It was a competition, like a rap dance competition where, you could win something. I don't remember what you could win, but we were there, we were part of it. I remember Skido was there also. Skido won the rap competition. So
He was rapping.
yeah, he was rapping.
That's quite a low standard. I've heard Oskido sing a rap on Mama Wami. He did something called Mama Wami in the 90s. It's not a great rapper. So that was a very low standard for rapper.
But he won that competition. But I think also maybe the rap was a bit different then.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the way you rap today and back then was a bit different. But yeah, to cut the long story short, we met there. Ramon and from POC was there also because of the breakdancing. He saw us dancing. You know, he saw us doing our thing. Then me and Junior from Boom Shaka. Because me and Junior from Boom Shaka, we used to be together like a lot back then. We were Maxi Priest and Shaba. We were like this, you know. I would sing, he would do the ragamuffin vibes. So we were doing that there. And Ramon from POC was there, breakdancing and stuff in the competition. And he saw us doing our thing, dancing and singing. And then he went to... And then it happened that they just lost two... POC just lost two members who or I don't know, were they out of the group, or they wanted to kick them out, or I don't know what happened. But then Ramon saw us, and then he went and told Lance. So the next time we met Lance, POC, I would say, it was in a club called Pink Cadillac in Hillbrow. He was like, okay, Ramon introduced us to Lance. And then we met Lance, like, yo guys, what you up to? What's happening? Would you want to join a group? We're like, wow. And because we couldn't believe it. We're like, what? When? You know?
Yeah.
It was like, it was an immediate thing.
Do you know whether or not at the time it was clear to him that he's doing Ghetto Ruff and he's doing talent identification and record label running and a relationship with radio and TV? Like, do you think that was clear to him that this is what I'm going to do? I don't want to be in front of the camera. I'm going to listen to people and I'm going to try and make their dreams possible.
I think it was clear. I think it was definitely clear. He was always a guy that was behind. He was behind the scenes, definitely. He was never one of those managers that just like, pose with the artists and stuff like that. He was definitely behind the scene. But he knew, even though in a smaller scale, things was beginning, but I think he knew, he was in it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether, because at some point you joined 999, I will try and follow the chronology of your story correctly.
Yeah.
Were there any significant disagreements between you to a point where you thought they were never going to be fixed, but somehow it works themselves out? Because I ask you this because I told you that I had been watching, even last year I watched Behind the Label. It's a Netflix documentary. Sorry. It documents the story of different South African record label. Rap Life, Bada Bing Entertainment, Ghetto Ruff, 999.
Yeah.
Consistently, every act, every singer, every rapper eventually has a problem with their record label boss.
Yeah.
When did you have a significant disagreement with him, and you turned your back on him, and then how did that relationship fix itself out?
Yeah. Well, yeah, back then I remember it was like it was after the scheme, the Vavas Jays, and when things blew up.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things ever in South Africa.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but then and there was a time where I didn't really feel like my beef was. I didn't feel like the company was doing enough to take me to the next level. You know what I mean? Of the solo album, just to take me to the other to the next level. That's why I left. It was as simple as that. Yeah,
that's interesting.
But it was not. It was really not some weird beef of money's being taken from me. No, it was just that I wanted to, go to the next level.
Yeah. And at that point, it makes sense because at that point you really were the star. You really were the star. You were always in groups, but your voice, South Africa becomes familiar with your voice now. How it sounds, and they know your name as well. To a point where the New Millennium song was one of the biggest things in 1999 before 2000 as well. Like you became who you became as well. I hope one day I'll have an opportunity to speak to Lance. But maybe last thing with that relationship is, how have you observed him through everything that has happened? Like, there's been Zola, there's been Nati, and everything else. I don't want you to speak on that, but you knowing the man, does it become bitter over time? Does it still have the same energy and verve to discover talent? Does it slow him down because eventually the talent that he builds up, somehow they think that he should change them and they leave him? Do you think he still has the same verve and energy?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, I would say in the whole industry, like out of most of the independent record labels, I think Lance and Oskido, they have similar in terms of like they still have that energy that they had in the beginning of their them building their record label. So they never really lose the mdlandla of it. Yeah, just that thing of like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. We're not stopping. But obviously, like, every record company has its own politics, I can't speak on other people, but yeah, there isn't a record company that is just all good or, You know, there's always your dips, your ups and downs. You hit this one, said this one, and you know, yeah.
Jozi, possible reunion.
Oh, J to the O to the Z to the I. Yeah. I definitely know now. I can say definitely. I know that me and Les are definitely gonna do something, you know. And I think Jozi will. There is a big vibe that's definitely gonna happen. Where we might link up together and do something. Yeah.
And that's not, there's no, from Dales's side, are you aware if there's any precondition which we can't do it with Motherland record label, with Lance's record label? Like, how is his situation with that? Like,
No, we're definitely going to do it with Motherland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we definitely. I mean, we spoke about it actually with all three of us. Yeah, so that I know for a fact that it's definitely on the pipeline. It's definitely.
All right, we're looking forward to that. I know that there was a departure.
But I don't know about other people because we've never sat down, or vice versa. He never sat down Bongs, whatever. So I can't speak on Bongs' side because I also don't really know the relationship between him and Lance, where it really stands, or him and Leslie, or where they are, you know. So I don't know, you know.
But in terms of your experience of the situation, you know that it would be slightly more difficult. Like they would have to make a lot of sacrifices from all sides to want to work.
Because from what I've from what I've checked out on TV, whatever, much I love how, you know, Bongs is going on about everybody. So I don't know if this is gonna be possible to, you know, to link up. I don't know. I really don't know, you know. But as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen Bongs in a while, so I don't have beef with Bongs. You know, we're cool. It's Brenda's son. It's my, you know, it's my little brother.
Yeah.
But I don't know with other people. So really, I don't know. But one thing that I know, so me and Les are definitely gonna do something.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people, of course, this is YouTube. Thousands and thousands of people consume this. There will be a few that will say there's no Jozi without Smang Mang.
Yes, definitely. So, yeah, that's what I pick up.
Yeah, there will be on social, on digital media.
Yeah,
bro, we can have 100% conversation positive. No?
Yeah,
there's always an asshole who's gonna say some stupid shit. Like, digital media trusted, whether it's on Facebook or somewhere.
It doesn't matter where it is. Yeah,
maybe if television had a comment section,
yeah,
maybe we would have noticed this long time ago. When they are watching, it's like,
which is also good. I feel like it's good because it gives people freedom, man. Freedom of speech, you know, no more, you know, and besides now, I'm not saying social media, there's not anything wrong with it, but I mean, now, even Ihlanya can speak, you know, a mentally ill person can have an opinion.
Absolutely.
You know, these days, you don't know, you know, because you can't tell.
And they can have an audience.
Yeah.
People listening to them.
But definitely, you know, and you told at that time, you know, so, you know, so.
You trended on social media. Do you know why?
Yeah.
That Tagalani song.
Yeah. I saw that. We were talking about it. We were talking about it on our way here.
I like that song.
Yeah.
It's a nice song.
I think it's a dope song.
It's a dope concept.
It's a dope concept. Do you know? I think
that's a dope song. I think the malice in that, it's not a big deal anyways. It's all for fun. Doesn't affect your bread in any way, sense or form. I think what they did was, I think it's Azania who's introducing you in one of the clips. Whoever the presenter is
on that program. Yes.
I think it's Azania. She's presenting that. Coming up next, Ishmael with a song. Tagalani.
Yeah.
And then the song starts with the Tagalani Sesame theme music.
Yeah.
But what it doesn't do, that clip, is to play the full song, because that song is dope. Like, it's a dope concept. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a pop star, a rock star. I wanted to be popular.
Yeah.
It's a dope concept. You know? And it's also dope that you sample Tagalani, because in our language, Tagalani
ingani, sure.
Even though in Venda, I think it means to be happy.
To be happy.
Yeah, but in our popular lexicon, it means Saying Tagalani, I was a young kid. Yeah, so that's social media for you.
Yeah, and I was like, where does this come from?
And there are kids.
And also, it's not a new song. For me,
yeah, 2016, right?
It's like, why now? What's happening? I was like, okay, into the social media. I think pussy coffee.
It's interesting because there's kids who were born. So someone who was born in 2000 is 23 years old. So they are a young adult.
Yeah.
If by the time you guys did Jozi, they were only 7,
Yeah,
8, 9, 10. So they don't know you.
They don't. Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
They only engage with your content with things that you would have done when they were 15, when life was starting to make sense to them. So they might somewhat know you, but not know you.
Not really know. Yes.
So they're going to know you exclusively as the guy who remixed the Takalani song. For those people who were born in 2002, they are 19 years old. When they see that clip, you are the guy who did Takalani Sesan.
Yeah.
Nothing else. You didn't do Robali Tega. You didn't do Vavas J.
Yeah.
To them, you are the meme that sang Takalani Sesan.
Yeah.
From that clip.
Yeah.
So that's like social media.
Yeah, no, it's a social media. It's good. It's good social media. Keep people talking and just hey. Yeah.
One thing that I was curious to ask you, how the hell do you grow up in front of people's eyes and that not affect you negatively? Like you were known since you were a kid. So you were part of POC, part of Skim, major work. You did 999 award-winning songs, and then you do Jozi at some point, and you do Yizo Avolegele Masango. That song was famous from there as well. So throughout, I think it's fair to say that by the time you're 17 until your age now, your existence is in public. Yeah, it means even when you want to enjoy yourself, get drunk a little bit from now and then. Every adult does that. Yeah, you have to be mindful of the fact that there are people that are watching you. There are people, whatever you're trying to do, even if you're hanging out with a girl somewhere, no one is going to know about it. As soon as someone sees it, they're going to know about it because they know you. So how has that negatively affected you or positively affected you, like your childhood in the spotlight? Because you literally been a teenager, and even now you're still a known person.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not. I guess, you know what, I don't really maybe pay attention to it too much because it's, since I got to Joburg, you know, it's like a thing. I'm used to it, you know what I mean? I'm used to it, but yeah, like you're saying, you have to kind of like, you're not really living your life to the fullest. So like, for an example, let's say in St. Lane, I want to go buy bread. I can't njengomuntu onormal ngiphume ungagqoka ngicathulo kuzothi sibheka sekayahlanya obheka ubhemeni manje, you know what I mean, little things like that. But I mean, it's part and parcel of it, you know. Mina ngizitshela ukuthi, I tell myself ukuthi it is what it is. It's we chose this career, we chose this route, and it's going to have its good things, it's going to have its bad things, you know. So it's when, you know, bad things come along, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see there's bad things, but also it has good things in it, this music industry. So it's it's a plus.
You take the good with the bad.
Yeah, because it's a whole package, you know. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me as much. Really.
Would you describe yourself originally, besides this whole fame thing, as a private person? Like, would you not have appreciated like privacy more?
Private, yeah. No, I think from the beginning though, I'm not a private person, like as in, because I remember even from a young age, I always wanted to be out with people, whether it's be dancing. I always just want to be, you know, with people, wherever, or Gwenzwani, we out there, you know. So I wouldn't say I'm a private person, but I would say I am, what am I? I kind of like my space in a way. It's like I like my space when I want it. I want to be, you know,
out
public
there when you want to.
When I want to. You know, that control, that's what I like. But, you know, yeah, that's the type of person I am.
Yeah. Let's talk about 999. Robali Teka, you won awards. You recorded that with 999.
Yeah, Robali Teka.
Yeah, because that's like around 98, 99, 2000. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, if my timelines are right, around that period. Yeah. And in the period, there's Abashante. There's Zombo.
Yeah, Jabba Shaban Tizombo. Who else was there?
I don't know if Lyra came after.
No, I found Lyra there. I remember.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Lyra was
Lyra
there.
is there around.
Yeah,
And
but then Lyra left.
Arthur
While
has.
I was there.
They have also Nestam and Purity at some point as well.
Purity was
How was that environment, and what led to you signing? It was linked with the fact that you feel like Ghetto Ruff is not doing enough. Therefore,
that was the time.
So how did you find that environment? Who called you? Were you being persuaded by Arthur?
Yeah, no. I was hooked up. I was connected to Arthur by Speedy from Bongo.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah, because when we used to hang out together, Uval, when I was with Scheme, yeah, it was just one crew. Speedy would come around the Konini. We were still going to school in my uniform, Banato somewhere, So
He always
did
he always have the towel?
Yeah, no, he didn't have the towel.
You got the towel later on in life.
Yeah, no, the towel thing was a stage thing. Really.
I know.
Yeah. So, no, he was a Ntwana yetu, he hang out. We used to always hang out with Junior from Boomshaka, So he was always there, and he was but and then he's the guy that hooked me up to Arthur. Yeah. And then I met Arthur via Speedy.
How was that meeting like? Arthur already knows how prolific you are as a vocalist. You don't have to convince him.
Yeah, I think so. I think because we were in the same industry. We bumped into each other, I guess, a few times, maybe at my awards or somewhere. You know what I mean? Or performing someone's stage.
Yeah.
So he knew about me. Yeah. So and then and then we got linked up. It happened so quickly. Because it was like it's like almost as if I made a decision long time before I even met him. I knew what I was, I was going for. I was like, okay, I want to blow up. I want to, yeah. And then we met straight to studio. Worked with Techno P, also dope producer, Kwaito producer from back then. Yeah,
I'm thinking about the baseline Garobalitega a little bit, and I'm thinking,
so
he did that. Techno P did that.
He did the whole track. He actually did.
It's a dope
80% of my tracks. In when I was in 999. Yeah, and then maybe Washington also did like 20% of them. Yeah, so Techno was very gifted Kwaito producer, and he also worked with Mdu at some point. He worked with a lot of people, some of them even
okay, let me clarify or get this right, because I thought D-Rex was just a dude from Ekaz. Kandu D-Rex Umlung.
Yeah.
Ukebile Rose, his name tells you that Umlung.
Yeah.
Techno P and out enjan.
I know Techno P out. I'll Techno.
Because it turns out around this period, you guys are working with a lot of white people, like engineers or something like that. Yeah. When I speak to Kwaito artists, they do say that they used to work with a lot of white.
Mostly, especially like mixers and people who master music were mostly white back then. But definitely producers were black people.
A lot of people are,
especially when the Kwaito field, it was a
lot of people are, a lot of musicians are, they don't like working with musicians who are record label owners for obvious reasons. One of the obvious reasons is that you end up being a writer for your record label. Your boss. You write for your boss, you give them your creative ideas, and they don't push you as much as they would push themselves.
They push themselves.
Now, Arthur around this period has Mnige, has Kwasa, has everything going for him. There's a lot of songs, and he's a dope, and I think he's a king of Kwaito in this period, in 98, 99, 2000. He's a king of Kwaito. That's like somewhere before Zola and Mzegazege takes over, and Kabelo takes over before that. So, Arthur, big Petenjani, and out enjani as how is that dynamic? But we are like he's a musician, recording musician, and a very successful one at that. And then he has musicians that he needs to take care of as well.
Yeah, and stuff like. I mean, like you say, man. He was a good, I would say, marketer, in terms of pushing and just getting stuff out there, hard work and stuff like that, I mean, he did a lot for, I won't take that from him. He did a lot for my Robalitech album, in terms of just pushing it and making
I heard that song everywhere.
You know what I mean?
Everywhere.
He made sure it's definitely everywhere, But also sometimes it's like you're saying, it's tricky. It's a bit tricky, like working the label owner being also an artist, because obviously, automatically, they're gonna come first. They're gonna come first. But he did his thing. He pushed.
Did you have to write for him? Did you, of course, not have to, but like creatively in that process, did you have to give him some of the songs which became big that you were going to use yourself, or did you see other artists giving him the songs that were supposed to be theirs?
They were supposed to be. I mean, I wasn't really aware in terms of like what other artists are doing and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely he had other writers. I mean, I also contributed in some of the tracks that that he had. But I'm not talking about like before I got the album. No, that was that was. I'm talking about later on, not the before tracks. Yeah, I mean, the people that they contributed to his writing, and then they contributed to other artists as well writing, and stuff like that. So it was like almost like a work together, type thing. Oh, feeling those vibes, feel a look, it's like which is very normal in a I would say in a working environment, artist working environment.
Yeah, in a
so
creative
other people
environment.
come with ideas, so other people come with this, come with that, and then you mix it together.
And how many albums did you do for him?
You mean for
my
album?
Triple Nine. Yeah, your Triple Nine.
I did like probably I would say 5, maybe around 5.
That's quite a lot of albums.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. But some of them are not really that known because it was there was definitely no push. At the later stage of my career in 999. So yeah, but Robali Tech was the one that everybody
That's the
knows.
only one I remember from you and 999.
Yeah, definitely that one. That's the one that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the rest people don't know much.
What were the circumstances of you leaving there?
It was the same circumstances that I left Ghetto Ruff.
Yeah. You felt there's no longer a push.
No, yeah. The reason why I left 999, there was no push at all. There was no push at all. Later stage, there was no push at all. So it was like it felt a bit not because it feels like you're just doing music. You're doing music, but no, you're the only one that believes in you. You understand what I'm saying? So it can be a bit draining.
What does that look like actually? Because you've told us about Lance, you're telling us about Arthur now. What does it look like? Of course, with romantic relationships, we know that what breakup looks like.
Yeah.
Breaking up sometimes can be you shouting at each other and then leaving. If there's a child support, visitation of the child. When someone leaves a record label, there is a perception out there that as you leave, it becomes acrimonious, which means like you're fighting and the
vibe is no longer the same.
Yeah, but and if depending on how severe that goes, there is also a perception the person can ensure that you never get played on radio, for example. How bad do these breakup occur, like in your experience? Yeah,
I don't know. It really depends, man. It really depends who you break up with and what kind of breakup it is, But I feel like my breakups really, my breakup with 999, it was really, at that time, it was, when you can see with Allah, asakhiphi angisaphushwa akusayenzwa next, you know what I mean? I'm not getting the same things that I used to get. I'm not being attended to like it was in the beginning. Nobody has to say something. You can see by yourself. If you don't make another move, because you have to make another move. Do something else, because otherwise there are artists that are still on the bench in certain record companies that are still waiting to be released. It's been years, and then you end up like it can break your spirit if you're not flexible. You have to jump, otherwise it will really, really, really do a number on you. It will kill you inside. It's just better to move somewhere else, even if probably maybe it's not going to be as good as it where it was, but move. You know, it's the most saddest thing of an artist is to be sitting in a record company waiting to be released. Maruloko bonungutala. You know, they're not feeling me here, but you're so hopeful. You're just sitting there and you're like, they're treating you like shit. So you tunya mak rosary. You know, little things like that. You're like, it's better to do something and ngono yo petela somewhere, you know, to, you know. And I guess it's sometimes it's just that not artists we are sometimes we're too loyal. We're loyal, you know, that stupid loyal where you see Uti. Nah, man, you know, this is not happening, but yet you're still there, you know. Yeah, loyalty is a good thing. Definitely you have to work with, because loyalty is trust, and trust, you know, it's trust is love, you know. And yeah, but loyalty is not supposed to be a one-way thing. You know, you have to be loyal to who or what is loyal to you back too, you know, so that they can be, you know, into a hambai, you know, so that kungayiwa phambili. With everything in life, even with relationships, you have to love somebody that at least loves you back. You can't be the only mundo tanda one, you know. That is beyond. That is something else. That is slavery. You're being slave to somebody that, you know, that's not feeling you. So yeah. So most breakups in the record companies is because of that, I think. Or it's because of just money things, obviously, you know. Sengiyarojwa manje or whatever into ezinjalo. And it could also be just because it's possible to be with jealous people around you that tell you ukuthi lava akuphathanga kahle. In ekubeni they are jealous of you because you live in a good life, you're doing great, but they would just want to break up a good thing for you. That's also possible, you know. So it's not just a one-way thing of, you know, breakups, you know. It's just many reasons people break up.
Oh, that's a powerful intervention.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Someone is going to take this clip and it will do the rounds. This part that you've just said now, the last 2 minutes, last 3 minutes, they will take it, they will clip it. It will be inspiration for a lot of musicians.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's the truth. It's not a one-way thing. It's, you can't look at it just like, you know, even though some things are very simple, they're straightforward. It's like that thing is black. You know, some are not as clear as it is.
In your experience, this thing is difficult to do without a record label, to break, to reach a mass market, to infiltrate the radio and all of that.
No, it's actually not. It's definitely not. But yeah, it's definitely not. But there are factors that are making it difficult because, I mean, if you're not in a record company, you have to now become your own record company, meaning you have to have all those resources that the record company have. You have to have the budget record company. Now you must have it. So it's, even though like now, it's doable. It's really not that difficult, but you still need certain things that the record company has. You know what I mean? Especially if you really want to, if you don't want to like kill yourself and slave, you know what I mean? Because now you have to be a manager, you have to be all those things if you're going to be independent. And being independent is not for weak people. It's you have to be really strong. But I'm not saying it's not doable. You know, it's doable, especially these days. There's like technology, there's the social media, which makes it a bit easier, and then there's information also on the, you know, on our phones, on our computer. It's easily available. You know, yeah, it's doable.
Could you?
It's more doable than it was before.
Yeah,
but it's still work.
It's still difficult.
Yeah.
Could you live off all of your songs just by performing them? Can you do a scheme song alone as Ishmael being booked? Stuff that you did with Jozi, Robaletega, all of your stuff as well. Like, are you at a point where in your career where, I know that we're going to talk about your new music and piano and all of the stuff now in a moment, but could you decide today that I'm not doing this anymore, and you just literally live off what you've done, not on royalties based on airplay, but literally performing those songs.
Performances. I mean, yeah. In a fair world, in a fair environment, yes, I can definitely live on that. I mean, but that also means then I have to get bookings. You know, it boils down to bookings. But I can definitely do that. But I mean, it's not where I'm at right now, you know, because I feel like I still have so much to offer, you know, in the music industry. So I'm still musically energized.
Yeah.
I still have ideas. I still get excited by little things that music brings, you know. So yeah, I'm still. But yeah. I mean, if push comes to shove, yes, of course. If I have no choice, it will be what it is, you know.
That would not be a sad thing. Like what I want to get at would be, because you have a good catalog, a very good catalog with all your involvement.
No, it won't. Like, no, it wouldn't be a sad thing.
It wouldn't be a sad existence of I have to.
No, I actually love shows. I love performing live. I love performing to people. You know, that's one of my favorite things. You know, actually, I love it more than actually going to the studio and recording music. I love performing to people. So no, it wouldn't be a sad thing at all. It'd actually be a happy thing for me, you know, because that's really what I want to do. Honestly, after everything, after studio, after perform, after interview, after anything, all I just want to do is that mic and a crowd. I'm a happy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What MT has become, you actually like. So he's known as the king of hooks. He's very soulful. I love him. I love his Logan album. It's one of my favorite albums, MT.
Sure. No,
there's a perception that it's easy for him to come up with these hooks. And as I'm talking to you, I realize, thinking back of all of your songs, all of these hooks, are they as effortless as they sound? Like, it's like, it was far from easy, believe me, growing up. Like, do you just sit down and just write that and that boom, and then it comes up perfect?
Yeah, no. I'd be lying if I say that. Sometimes it's really easy to do certain things, and sometimes it's really hard. You know, it really depends on the song. Some songs you listen to a beat and it immediately gives you a hook. You're on a surf, okay, and it sounds so effortless. Like, okay, this is what's needed to be sung on this one. And some tracks you need to work a little bit harder to actually make what you're gonna sing on it fit perfectly and sound effortless. You know what I mean? So no, it's not all the time effortless. It's a bit of thinking, it's a bit of creativity and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, and you strike a very good balance of simplicity and complexity, because the one that I've just said, if I swear from easy, believe me, blah blah blah, and then you can be able to say Emma, Utsama. It's simple. It's simple in terms of even writing those lyrics, and you listening to that beat and be like, okay, let me not be complicated here. Emma, Utsama.
Yeah, and also, okay, sorry, the other reason why Emma Utsama is not that difficult, because it's a gospel song that's already.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's
a gospel standard.
Yeah, it's a standard. So, you know.
But even Vavasye, where were you, Nolikai? It's so succinct. Wow, Vavasye, where were you,
simple vibes. Yeah.
It's succinct, straightforward, simple, and it's sticky. You will hear it, you'll remember it, you will say it to someone.
That's one of the other things that I like. When Kwaito and Amapiano, those genres are beautiful in a way. They actually let you sing something very simple, and it fits in and it's fine. You don't have to really break yourself, and you just like being, you know what I mean? And stuff like. So yeah, it really depends on what genre you are dealing with. Some genres are very, even the listeners, they don't want to be like, you know, pulling out dictionaries or just reading when they have to understand what you say. They're simple, straightforward, like sing like how we talk like how we talk type thing, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're fascinating. I think you're more fascinating than you give yourself credit for.
Thanks,
your voice as well is fucking fascinating. I don't understand. Like, how does, maybe that's the question, like, how do you sound like that in 1989 and still sound like that in 2000 and 23? That's what I said. Like, to us who are given inferior voices, I know the limits of my voice. If I sing for 2 hours, it will break. Or if I sing for an hour, it will break. As someone who was trained to use it. But for you, it's been a mainstay. I don't remember it changing. It was literally like as you discovered it when you were in your teenage years. It still sounds dope. You still reach notes that you were reaching when you 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean that I'd be lying if I say I know a recipe or anything like that. It's just one of those, man, that really just happens. But I don't know what it is. But yeah, I guess I would say I can say I don't know. It's just the love of music, really. Love of music, and I love singing, and yeah, it is what it is. But I don't know. I don't have some secret way of handling it. This is what I do. This is what I do.
You don't drink olive oil and warm water or whatever.
And things like that. Which maybe I probably should do that. You never know, you know. But I'm not. Yeah.
For me, I think everyone is the piano. Everyone is like, okay, that's the direction to take. Yeah. You've done a song. It's a single. Yeah. Is already out on Spotify and other digital channels. At the moment, it's a piano song. Like why? In a way, you've kind of answered that Kwaito and piano allows you the simplicity to sing songs that are catchy. People can remember. They're very simple. How difficult or easy was it for you to blend into? Because you've done you've done hip hop, you've done Kwaito, you've done R&B, so you have the versatility. It wasn't difficult for you to jump into Amapiano.
Into Amapiano. No, I mean I would say no, definitely no. It was not. It really was not, because I think of what helped me is how I look at Amapiano. I look at Amapiano like Kwaito. You know, for me, I mean I know they know it's not the same thing, but definitely they are cousins. Do you know what I mean? And so my approach to Amapiano would be the same approach to Kwaito. You know what I mean? Because there's a certain part of Amapiano and Kwaito where they really mix. They are one thing. You know what I mean? So I think I concentrate on that in terms of just because I feel like for an artist from my era, the other reasons why you think Amapiano is a bit difficult or it for you to sing or whatever, it's because you look at it as a completely new thing, and which is not a new thing. You're not supposed to look at it as like completely new thing, because as soon as you start looking at it as a completely new thing, then that means you're gonna have to start coming up with completely new ideas. But it's not a completely new thing. There's still a bit of Kwaito there. So think Kwaito, and then that's why you like it's so easy for the remixers. They can mix a vocals, Kwaito vocals from back in the days into Amapiano so easily that is a sign that there's a gel there.
Yeah, and it relies a lot on lyrics. Like for Amapiano to work, it cannot be like a Kwaito instrumental. And maybe it cannot just be an instrumental. It relies on the vocalist to make it work as well. So it's similar to Kwaito.
It's similar to Kwaito, yeah.
Because Kwaito needed the production plus the vocals.
Yes.
It can't just be instrumental. If it's instrumental, it just turns into deep house or whatever normal house
else. Yes, So yeah. So no, but and besides, music in G as a whole, whether it be jazz, rock, R&B, anything, gospel, there's certain things that are similar.
Yeah.
That there's certain unwritten rules about music. You know? Yeah.
How long does it take you to write stuff?
Yo, like I said, man, sometimes it will take me 5 minutes to write a song. Sometimes it will take me a bit longer than that.
Yeah.
It really depends
what's
on what I hear.
What's a bit longer? Can it be a week? You just leave it there and then come back to it after a week or something like that? Have you ever done something like that?
Yeah, where I write it and it's not finished and I leave it. Yeah. No, that happened, yeah. It definitely that happened where, I write something and be like, okay, leave it. Because at that time, my mind is not 100% focus on it, and then go back to it later and then actually finish it, or go back to it later and then scrap the whole thing that I has keep, and there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, 5 minutes, this is talking to me immediately, and then there isn't a set time for me, I know different people work differently, but for me it's like I can write something now that works, or it won't work. I can,
Yeah. Please leave us with something. I want to dive into your musical interest before I let you go. You don't just become who you are, your musical versatility, gospel, Amapiano, Kwaito, hip hop, and do them really well without, this is an assumption on my part, but I believe you don't do that without really being influenced by other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what do you really enjoy? Talk about musicians, your favorite albums, favorite songs. Who do you listen to? What do you really enjoy? From back then or even now, currently, what do you really enjoy?
I listen
any genre.
From any genre. I listen to a whole lot of different people. I mean, it's really all across the board, my brother. Or even like gospel and gospel. I listen to American gospel. I would vibe that. I would even go back in the day and listen to some Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah.
I would come back and listen to some hot Amapiano manje, So I'm really, I don't dwell in one place, because I think music goes with the mood. But what mood you are in, where are you mentally at that time? Where are you? What would you, what's working? What stimulates your mind at that particular moment? Who you with? Where you are? So for me, it changes all the time. But I listen to almost everything, except, or maybe obviously not a lot. Maybe rock music. I don't hate it. I just, what I mean. It will be, if there's any genre that I don't really like get an opportunity to listen to a lot, it'd be that. But mostly, I listen to all of them.
Yeah, I think that's normal. I think people who are stuck on genres, like for me, my music collection is vast. Like it's different.
It's different. Yeah.
I think that should be normal.
That should be normal.
That should be normal.
Because that goes with your mood. Because your mood is not constantly.
Yeah.
Your mood goes up and down.
Yeah.
So what you listen to also should kind of match, because I feel like music is like a,
you can't be listening to Amapiano when you're sad.
You young tall, uzoba said ganja no apucha. And but that would be funny though. That doesn't even, it will be,
There you go.
So yeah.
There you. Thank you very much, man, for giving us your time. Really appreciate it. I love talking to musicians whose music I enjoy.
Yeah.
Interviews are easier when you're interviewing a musician whose music you enjoy, like you know from back to front.
Sure,
it's more difficult. Like I get a lot of people who say, "Can you please interview my cousin? Interview this upcoming." And I love upcoming musicians. And it's like that's a difficult. I don't respond typically because I know it's a difficult. Like what the fuck am I gonna ask you? After 10 minutes, I'm done. Like I'm bored. Not bored as in like I don't respect your art.
Yeah,
I don't know it.
Yeah,
it must spontaneously reach me. Like, oh, I was listening to this and this played and I liked it. You didn't convince me. I listened to it and it was playing. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it's lovely to speak to people like yourselves, accomplished artists who do dope music.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you. You guys are the people that keep us going, That motivation actually means a lot to a person like me, because they're like, okay, sharp, yeah, keep going, and keep doing your thing, I am not lost. You feel me? Yeah.
There you go. Thank you very much to everyone who's watching. Hope you enjoyed it.